I thought a long time ago, I don't know, what was it, about 3 years ago or so, when remember when the Golden Boy Richard Schaefer Heyman situation, fell apart? Remember where they had that spectacular year on Showtime that ended with Adrian Broner losing to Marcos Maidana? Then that next year, it pretty much just fell apart. Oscar De La Hoya had went into rehab. He was in rehab at the time. Richard Schaefer and Al Heyman were trying to buy Golden Boy from Oscar De La Hoya. Well, the point I'm trying to make is there was a time where Mayweather had left Golden Boy Promotions. Remember, there was at one point in time where Mayweather Promotions was just really a name. They didn't even have a promoter's license. So, because of his contract with Showtime, and because of at that point in time, Heyman and Schaefer, but this time Schaefer was out of the picture. Heyman was pretty much running Golden Boy Promotions. He had the fighters, and one of the big reasons why Oscar De La Hoya and Richard Schaefer had their falling out is because Al Heyman was allowed to sign up these fighters to his managerial advisory deal, but not sign with Golden Boy Promotions at the same time. So, we saw that Mayweather said he was going to leave Golden Boy Promotions, and he did. But I knew, and many inside knew, that he don't got no promoter's license. And he's got to have a fight in September, so he needs a promoter, right? He had to go back to Golden Boy Promotions. Oscar De La Hoya had to promote his event. So now what's going on is this. We know that Mayweather versus McGregor, it is happening. The contracts are signed. Now, there's still much more that has to be done. For example, Conor McGregor has to start training. Now, remember, Conor McGregor doesn't, even though he's been training for quite some time, learning and things like that, but he still needs to have an official 12-week training camp, in my opinion. He doesn't even have a trainer yet. So you may think that the fight can happen in September, but I really don't feel that the fight can happen in September because there's so much that has to be done. Remember, right now, this date I'm recording this video, it's what, May the 24th. It'll be May the 25th in a half an hour here on the East Coast. So, June is next month. Then you have to think, Mayweather usually has an 8-week training camp. In training camp, part of July and August going into September. So, I guess what I guess what we're talking about is, do you feel that they would do Mayweather versus McGregor the same day as Canelo versus Golovkin? I say no, because you have to understand, even though Mayweather says, yeah, September is that's bothering me. Why's that crooked? There we go. Even though Mayweather says that September is his date, September, that Mexican weekend is his time, and Cinco de Mayo is his time. Canelo is now fighting on Cinco de Mayo and in September. But if Mayweather had his way, Mayweather versus McGregor and Canelo versus Golovkin would be on the same day. But you got to think, there are people who are above Mayweather, right? Do you think that HBO and Showtime really want to compete when it comes to pay-per-view money? Why do something like that? Also, do you think that, HBO would give up their date? Remember, this is HBO we're talking about. They already have it penciled in September the 16th, what is it, the 17th? Canelo versus Golovkin, right? On HBO pay-per-view. So they already have like a storyboard, I guess what it's called, of basically a plan in place for, okay, well, we're going to have, the face-off at this time. We're going to start doing principal photography for promos at this time. Then at this date, we're going to start shooting HBO 24/7 and shit. So sometimes I guess when it comes to like the media, or like when it comes to like like how like the boxing promotional business works, from what I've been learning, and when it comes to the networks, it's like you are talking. So you can be a hardcore boxing fan, but when it comes to like the business side of things, you can be a casual, like not understanding It's like it's not in the best interest, you know, of either network. Even though I feel Mayweather versus McGregor is a bigger fight than Canelo versus Golovkin financially. Because understand that McGregor has got that UFC fan base who's going to at least bring 1 million pay-per-view buys right there. That Irish fan base, you know, and that UFC fan base and that Irish fan base, a lot of them, majority of them feel McGregor really has a chance. That's the selling point of this fight. The hardcore boxing fans on Mayweather's end is like, yo, this is a fucking mockery. You're fighting somebody who's 0-0, bro. You know, you have Chris Van Herden who fought Errol Spence, is like, you know, who's been sparring, you know, that was a while ago, like a year ago or so, sparring with McGregor. Is like, yo, dude's got a long-ass way to go. He's flat-footed even by UFC standards. You know, I'm not going to begin to get in so many of the different technical, you know, and fundamental flaws that he has. You know, so, but to Mayweather, you think he cares about what the hardcore boxing fans think at this point in time, especially since he beat Pacquiao? This is a money grab. It's a money grab. You think Dana White was going to allow McGregor to fight Mayweather without, you know, securing that McGregor is at least going to still fight in the UFC? They don't want McGregor to get that Mayweather money, right? You know, but then say, yeah, I'm done with the UFC. You know, now I'm going to go try to fight Amir Khan and get another payday from the boxing. You see what I'm saying? You know, so I'm sure that the UFC came to some type of agreement with McGregor. It's like, all right, listen, you can make this money, you know, from this Mayweather fight, but you got to come back here and you got to sign an extension with us and not raise no fuss, you know, for 4 fights or some shit, you know. So I know something went down behind the scenes with that. But that's business, right? So now that the fight is upon us, like what sense does it make for them to, like, okay, right? You have, if I'm correct, well, I'm not gonna say I'm correct, I know. You know, Steven Espinoza, he's the one that's in charge when it comes to Showtime. You see what I'm saying? Showtime boxing and everything. But remember, he's got a boss above him, right? You got Peter Nelson, who's in charge of HBO boxing, right? You think that these guys got bosses above them. So you think that they care about that petty bullshit Mayweather's talking about? It's like, yo, you know, I don't care. That's my date. Put it on the same day with them. You know, so you got this. You got what fans are looking at a mockery, a highly financially successful, what's going to be financially successful mockery of a boxing event. You know, going up against a boxing event that hardcore fans have been clamoring for. It makes no sense. So Mayweather on that level where he is can be on that petty bullshit about, well, yeah, you know, this date is my date. But when it comes to, you know, the people that are above, you know, him, like, you know, Steven Espinoza can't go to his bosses and say, well, you know, Mayweather versus McGregor on September the 16th is going to do 2 million, 2.5 million pay-per-view buys. But it could do whatever, or it may do less because we got Canelo versus Golovkin over on the other network. They're going to be like, well, just put it on another date. But Mayweather said, fuck what he said. You know, you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? So it's things like that that you have to really look into. Also, you know, on another thing, you're dividing, you know, audiences. Because if Mayweather McGregor's on a day by itself, not compete with Canelo versus Golovkin, I understand people say, well, Canelo, you know, he can just make Canelo Golovkin move they date. Yo, y'all giving Mayweather too much power when it comes to the political and the networks and all that shit. You see what I'm saying? You know, I understand he's a very powerful man in boxing, but it's like I said earlier, HBO is just not going to move they date. It's already, you know, they're already in motion. You know, they're looking to secure a venue. That's the last thing we're waiting for is for them to secure a venue. It's a bidding war going on with the venues. You see what I'm saying? Who says that maybe if they're trying to get Dallas Stadium, which is free on September the 16th, right? Or the 17th, right? Because the Cowboys, I did look it up, they're playing away. What if they have to move it to October or that next, you know, week or something, and the arena's not, you know, not free then? You know, so that's why I say, you know, I can understand you can be like hardcore boxing fans and everything, but when it comes to the political end, you really got to start analyzing things, you know, like on the business sense. You know, it makes no sense, you know, for the pay-per-view to be on. And can you really imagine Mayweather saying, well, yeah, you know, they got my date. I'm just going to move it somewhere else. You know, You got too many people. Like, you know, you think that when it comes to negotiations for this fight, right? We know that, okay, yes, Mayweather's in the loop when it comes to everything, but how is he in the loop? From Heyman translating shit down to him. So when it comes to the real negotiations, you know, it's Heyman and Dana White really that's really doing the work. You know, and Steven Espinosa's Showtime, if you really, really want to look at it. Mayweather's just the person that Heyman goes and says, ah, yeah, champ, I got you this, this, and that. And he can tell Heyman, well, no, you know, Al, can I get this, and yada, yada. He's like, well, I'm going to go try for it, champ, but we got to get this bread. You know? So, just like if you don't know at this point in time that Al Heyman is Mayweather Promotions and about billions, if you don't know that all those fighters is Al Heyman fighters, then it's like you are truly out of the loop. So as I said, man, listen, I got a lot of shit going on. You know, we're so close to being, like, organized. I'm talking about, like, not even, like, you know, I'm saying, like, probably, like, a month, a good month, you know, from, like, tomorrow or something. We're going to be fully 100% operational. You know, as you can see, I have all this different stuff, you know, but the most important components that are missing is my new PC that's supposed to, you know, make things so much easier for me as far as multitasking and doing high-quality videos and using this new software that I have. So until my computer gets back, you know, it's like, you know, I'm really kind of like at a standstill as far as doing videos. So I can do videos, but as you can see, there's some issues. And some issues, there's issues with the sound because I'm running off of laptops. But, you know, with everything I'm doing from this, you know, pushing things to the limit. Like I have 1, 2. I have a command center. You see what I'm saying? You know, and then all this different, everything running from here, you know, so. When it comes to Mayweather versus McGregor, hey, listen, I look at it like this, right? My foot is in the door. I don't know how far it is in the door, but it's in the door because just I'm not going to say any more than that. You know, so I feel that it's my obligation to be there. You know, I gotta hype. My job is to hype up fights, so I'm going to promote that shit. You know, I'm going to talk about how McGregor can win, even though we know he's likely not. It's still we gotta talk about this shit. You know, we got to talk about all of, oh, what if, you know, let's not talk about it because I know people are going to start thinking that, but what if he won? I'm not saying he's going to win. You know, another thing before I end the video, Mayweather's in a crazy situation because, you know, he can't knock out McGregor in like the first round. You see what I'm saying? You know, but he can't go the distance with him at the same time. You know, you can't allow Mayweather to go back to the UFC and say, you know, I went the distance with the greatest boxer in the world. You can't allow him to go back to the UFC to say that shit, right? So Mayweather's got to stop him with his old, brittle, lidocaine hands, with his orthopedic gloves. Since he don't plan on fighting unless he's making $100 million, we already know that there's only one other. I don't think he can make $100 million fighting Canelo again, honestly. Could he? Maybe. Maybe, but we know Pacquiao is a guarantee. You know. And that door is closing with that, like, so super fast. I'm talking about the financial part of it. You know, but Mayweather can make that easy $100 million from fighting a fighter that's zero. This is a free paycheck for Floyd. You think he care about what y'all saying? This is a free paycheck for him, man. You know? This is just, you know? He don't even have to have a full camp. So, man, listen. I'm TstreeT Controversy. He can go pretty boy Floyd on Conor McGregor. You know, he can just go out there and just wipe him out if he wants to because he's not under contract where he has to fight again in another 6 months. So, you know, what if he says, man, fuck if I hurt my hand? Because remember, he's got some real fucked up hands, and that's a lot of reasons why, you know, when the biggest reason why he doesn't get knockouts like he used to. Because it's not that he can't knock you out, it's just that the shock on his hands and also the gloves. You know, because his gloves have an orthopedic type of shock absorbent foam that protects your hands. But also, you know, Floyd, like, you know, put it this way, he can hit hard. But it's a sacrifice with that at this point in time in his career. You know, so he can hit hard and knock you the fuck out. You know, but it's like at what cost. So he was very weary of that during his Showtime contract, you know, because it's like, well, damn, I got to fight again in another, what, 5, 6 months. You see what I'm saying? So, I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. I cover every single major fight live. Please subscribe. Links to my social media are right down below in the description box. We're very close to getting everything organized and being consistent, you know. So, The fight's done. You know, we're just waiting for them to sort out a little mumbo jumbo. But it's like, you know, all the speculation is over. It's happening. Please subscribe.